Hey guys, when you travel for business, time is money. It is important to be at the right place at the right time. And even if your rental has GPS, figuring it out in the parking garage, well, that can drive you mad. And then, have you ever driven in DC? You realize that even if the rental has Navi, you want a dash cam. Let's look at the Garmin Drivecam 76. If you travel for business or travel, keep the box for transport. Keeps your unit safe from scratches. The dash cam on this model sits in the middle of the back, and it's adjustable from side to side. The two SD slots, one is for your maps and the other to keep your recordings. The USB port, it combines charging with the Garmin traffic to alert you about wrecks, construction, and other problems. And this power button, it's a soft button at the top. It might be overlooked if you're looking for a physical button. I pushed the button, held the button, but my unit did not come on at first. My guess is a low battery. One thing that did catch my attention and made me curious, this instruction manual. It's a RVCam 795 and a CamperCam 795. This unit wasn't available locally, and I used Amazon Prime. They delivered. I'm still curious about this. But all the standard stuff is here. The suction cup mount for windshield mounting. There's a USB power and traffic radio cable. Now, this cable has a built-in antenna, and if you substitute this cable for charging or anything else, you will lose your traffic info, so keep that in mind. The car charger, it's a 12 volt in, USB 5.3 volts, 2 amps out. If you do decide or need to substitute for some reason, make sure you put out at least 2 amps. Even better, use a smart charger. There's a link at the end of this video. Again, straight out of the box, my unit would not come on. And the manual, it just isn't much help. My guess though was it's only a low battery, so I stuck it in the charger. There's no LED or lamps to indicate that charging is going on. I guess you have to have a little faith. But after about 4 minutes, the screen faintly lit up with Garmin and a discharged battery icon. I gave the unit 5 minutes to charge before I started to attempt to set up, but even then, the display, it remained really dim. Thankfully, the camera that I was using to record compensated and adjusted the exposure, making it easy to see on screen. Setup, though, is easy. Garmin automatically takes you through setting up the region, the language, and the end user agreement. For now, I skipped connecting and setting up to the Garmin Drive mobile app. It takes over hands-free and some other stuff, which I find annoying. You might like it. The next part of setting up is the Wi-Fi, which is used to update your unit, both the maps and the firmware. You can use Garmin Connect if you want to and connect to your computer, but this is much easier. Warning though, if you lose power or connectivity during the update, you may be forced to use Garmin Connect to recover. My suggestion, don't disturb this guy while he's updating. Once on board though, my first thing was to adjust that display. Brightness at 20% was not good. Though I tried, I could only get to 40%. I got a note, connect to vehicle power to adjust brightness. I'm guessing that my tabletop only puts out 1 amp. Don't know. The next thing on the to-do list is to actually update the unit. In settings, simply find updates, select, and if you're connected to Wi-Fi, the unit starts searching. Notice the blue arrows that point down. These indicate that both a map and a software update are available. Also, notice the estimate of more than 3 hours. The time, though, is dependent on your internet speed and quality. I chose Install All. Again, you have to accept the end user license agreement. Accept this and then you get a warning. Basically, just don't interrupt me while I'm busy. Accept this and the unit starts to download immediately. It's really simple. Although the indication was that it would take more than 3 hours to download everything, my unit actually completed in right about 30 minutes. Not bad. Note, sometimes during the update, this screen, it just goes dark. There's no indication of anything. And, well, like me, you might be tempted to check. Tap on the screen a couple of times. But don't. Just lay it down and let it go. It's still working in the background. Remember that note, don't interrupt me while I'm working? It's good advice. The screen comes back on soon enough. The settings icon is the gear in the lower right-hand corner. Click this and the initial screen comes up giving you the options to connect to a computer, which I don't need at this time, and to complete the setup, which is basically connecting the Garmin app, another feature I don't use. And then updates, which we've already completed. The map display, though, is what I want at the moment. I'll choose an icon later, but now I want to add detail to the map, so I select More. Garmin doesn't tell you what More is, only that it may slow down redrawing the map. It does provide a few more details about the area that you're in. Layers allows you to select what you want to display, i.e. traffic, 3D buildings, and terrain. Myself, I enabled the up ahead, just so I'm informed about gas stations, rest areas, or other points of interest. Navigation lets you set your calculation method, such as the fastest time or the shortest route, and also other avoidances such as U-turns, highways, tolls, and ferries. This Garmin is more clear than the older models. It spells out allow, and then the check mark indicates to avoid. The 76 also allows you to set custom avoidances, such as areas or roads, and that's nice when you're visiting a new city and have a criteria such as construction or something else that you want to avoid. Driver assistance, it lets you enable or disable the speed alerts, route preview, set proximity alerts, schools, cameras, and alerts you to construction zones and lane closures. And also there's crash avoidance features such as lane departure. I will be using this Garmin for just business travel. I don't need it in the truck. And I find it much more convenient to set destinations before I ever leave the house. In this case, I will be traveling to Dallas, Texas, and Garmin makes it easy. I just enter the street address as normal, 3600, and then the name of the street, Duncanville. Garmin will look for this address in my setup location when I power it on, but it doesn't exist here, and Garmin tells me that the address can't be found. It's not a problem though. I simply change the city and state and enter Dallas, Texas. And voila! A pop-up presents you with two possible matches. One thing I did find very odd though was that the 76 indicated that I would arrive at 7:05, no AM or no PM. From here, Dallas is a 20-hour drive. Although I am flying into Dallas, I think the time should indicate AM, PM, and a small total, 20 hours or something. Well guys, there you have it. That's the quick review of the Garmin Drivecam 76. It'll get you started with some of the features. Although the 76 has a user manual built in, you can download the interactive PDF from their website. I advise that. Until then, next time, guys, travel safe, be a good human. Take care.